small, striped insect flies by, and the reaction is immediate. Bee! Then comes the flinch, the swat, and the warning to everybody nearby. A show of the "kill it before it kills me" dance. But many of the insects we call bees are not bees at all. They may be paper wasps, yellowjackets, hornets, mud daubers, potter wasps, thread-waisted wasps, or the tiny parasitoid wasps you have almost certainly never noticed. And once we learn who they are, the fear starts to make room for something better: understanding. For the last part of our Maybe It's a Wasp series, I want to zoom out, because bees and wasps are not villains. Once you understand who they are, what they're doing, and how they fit into your local ecosystem, the story changes. Today, we put all the pieces together, explaining the difference between a bee and a wasp, showing you why native matters, revealing how bees and wasps contribute to your local food web, and, fingers crossed, by the end, you'll feel more confident sharing space with them. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amanda, and this is diyNature, backyard ecology made simple. Bees and wasps are cousins in a sense, closer cousins than you'd think. They both belong to a massive order of insects called Hymenoptera. That's bees, wasps, sawflies, and ants, all in the same group. Bees are a specialized branch nested inside the wasps, which means every difference you can see between them traces back to the one decision: feed your kids bugs or feed your kids flowers. So let's make this useful. When something with a stinger lands near you, here's the 3-step read I use: waist, fuzz, leg language. Waist. Wasps tend to have that exaggerated, cinched-in waist, long, lean, almost engineered looking. Bees are usually rounder, more compact. Think less hourglass, more potato. Fuzz. This is the big one, and it goes straight back to the vegetarian thing. Bees are fuzzy. They're covered in branched, feathery hairs. Under a microscope, they look like tiny pipe cleaners, and pollen sticks to them like Velcro. That fuzz is a pollen collecting machine. Wasps are mostly smooth and shiny because they're not trying to haul flowers home. They're hunters. Leg language. Watch the legs. A bee heading home is often carrying visible cargo: bright yellow or orange packets of pollen, either mashed onto its back legs in pollen baskets or dusted across the hairs on its belly. A wasp in flight usually lets its long and thin legs dangle underneath it. Waist, fuzz, legs. You will not get it right every time. Nature loves exceptions, but you'll be right way more than the SWAT first crowd. And the size range on both of these is wild, by the way. We've got bees so small they could nap on Lincoln's face on a penny, and we've got wasps so small they're literally among the tiniest insects that exist. Egg parasites you could lose in a grain of salt, all the way up to bumblebees the size of your thumb knuckle, and cicada killers that look like they should require a pilot's license. Bee and wasp aren't two animals. They're two enormous, sprawling families. Let's actually meet them. Let's start with the bees because they get good PR, and for once, the PR is mostly deserved. What are they doing out here? Collecting two things: pollen and nectar. Nectar is the carb, fuel for the adult to fly around. Pollen is the protein, especially for the next generation. Pollination, the thing that helps produce roughly 1/3 of global crop production, is almost an accident. The bee isn't trying to pollinate your blueberries. It's grocery shopping for its kids and getting dusty doing it. Now, the part most people get completely wrong, when I say bee, you picture a hive, a box, thousands of workers, a queen, honey. Forget that image. That's one bee, the European honeybee, and it's the exception, not the rule. There are around 4,000 species of native bees in North America. The overwhelming majority of them are solitary. No hive, no honey, no colony to defend. One female doing the whole job herself, digging a nest, stocking it, laying eggs, and dying before her kids even hatch. And about 70% of them nest in the ground. The rest move into hollow stems, beetle holes, the cracks in your dead wood, right under your feet, all summer, and you never knew. So who are the locals? Here on the East Coast, the ones you'll actually see are bumblebees, big, round, fuzzy, forgiving. The common eastern bumblebee is everywhere, and here's a superpower the honeybee doesn't have. Bumblebees buzz pollinate. They grab a flower and vibrate at a frequency that shakes the pollen loose. Tomatoes, blueberries, peppers, those work way better with a bumblebee than a honeybee. Mining bees, gentle ground nesters, out early when not much else is. Mason bees, little, often metallic blue-black, early spring orchard companions. A handful of mason bees can out-pollinate a whole crowd of honeybees on fruit trees. Sweat bees, including those tiny jewel green metallic ones that look fake. Yes, those are bees. No, they're not out to hurt you, just lick you. Carpenter bees, the big ones that hover by your porch and bonk each other, and sometimes you. The dramatic hovering ones are males, and males don't even have stingers. They're all bluff. Leaf cutters, squash bees, longhorned bees, cellophane bees, and that's barely the tip of the iceberg. So why do I keep banging the drum that native is better? 2 reasons. 1, the honeybee is, ecologically speaking, livestock. It's a managed, non-native agricultural animal, a European import we keep like little 6-legged cows. Save the Bees got turned into a get a honeybee hive, and that's a bit like saving birds by farming more chickens. A backyard hive can actually outcompete our native bees for flowers and spread diseases to them. Honeybees are not the native bee conservation crisis. Managed colonies can suffer serious losses, but the species is not endangered in the way many native bees are declining. 2, our native bees and our native plants evolved together. Some of these bees are specialists. They only collect pollen from one specific group of native plants, and if that plant isn't around, neither are they. You can't import that relationship. You can only protect it. And that's a yard thing, which we'll get to. Next, the wasps. The ones humans have somehow collectively decided to hate. When people think wasp, they are picturing maybe 2 or 3 angry social summer picnic species. But just like with bees, that's a tiny corner of an enormous family. Most wasps are solitary. Most wasps are not aggressive. And a huge number of them you have literally never noticed in your life. Which is exactly the problem, because they might be the hardest working animals in your yard. Here's the core job of most wasps. They're predators. Remember, bees are the wasps that quit hunting. The wasps that didn't quit are still out there doing it. And what they're hunting is, overwhelmingly, the stuff you don't want running amok in your yard. caterpillars overmunching your plants, aphids, flies, grubs. A solitary wasp catches their prey, paralyzes it, and stuffs it into a nest as a fresh meat starter kit for their larvae. That's not a nuisance. That's free, targeted pest control. Let's sort them out. The social ones: paper wasps, yellowjackets, and the bald-faced hornet. These social wasps are the ones with a colony to protect, which is where the reputation comes from. More on that in a second. Quick truth: the bald-faced hornet isn't a hornet at all. It's a big black and off-white yellowjacket that builds those gray paper footballs in the trees. Until recently, the European hornet was the only true hornet established in the United States. Now, the invasive yellow-legged hornet has been detected in parts of the southeast, and agencies are working to contain it. But for most backyard hornet conversations, especially on the East Coast, people are usually talking about bald-faced hornets, which are actually yellowjackets. Solitary builders: mud daubers building those organ-piped mud nests on your shed, potter wasps making tiny clay jugs, and cicada killers, those giant, terrifying-looking wasps that emerge in late summer. The huge ones patrolling your lawn are males. No stinger. The females could sting, but they're too busy hunting cicadas to care about you. And now the part nobody talks about: the parasitoid wasps. These are the overlooked workhorses. There are thousands of species of them. Most are small, many are tiny, and a lot of them you would never in 100 years identify as a wasp. And here's what they do. Instead of hauling their prey back to a nest, the female lays her eggs on or inside the insect itself. A caterpillar, an aphid, a beetle grub, or even a ladybug, using a long needle-like ovipositor. Most of the time, her larvae then eat that host from the inside out. It's grim. It's also one of the biggest natural forces keeping pests, insects, in check on the entire planet. A few months ago, I gave this weird little wand of an insect a name because I couldn't find a common one for it. Meet the Pollen Goblin. It's exactly the kind of creature most people would never notice. Tiny, strange, easy to dismiss. But it's out there, doing quiet biological warfare on the arthropods chewing through your garden. And here's the fear-reducing part. Many parasitoid wasps like this are functionally harmless to us. That long, needle-looking thing is usually an ovipositor, an egg-laying tool, not a weapon built for poking primates. Oh, and wasps pollinate too. Kinda. Adults need carbs, so they visit flowers for nectar and move pollen while they do. Less efficiently than bees, sure, but they're on the clock for that job as well as everything else. Now, the sting. Let's be honest about it, because pretending nothing stings is how you lose people's trust. First fact: only females can sting. The stinger is a modified egg-laying tube. So every male, every hovering carpenter bee, every patrolling cicada killer. Pure theater. Second fact: solitary species almost never sting. Almost. Think about it from her side. A solitary bee or wasp has no colony, no stockpile, nothing to defend but herself. And if she dies, her whole genetic line dies with her. Stinging you is an insane risk for zero reward. So when you do get stung, it comes down to one of two reasons. Reason one: you smothered it. Stepped on by a bare foot, pinned between your forearm and your bicep, trapped in your armpit, riding the rim of your cup right up to your lips when you take a sip. From the insect side, that's not aggression. It's pure kill it before it kills me panic. A last resort. Reason 2, you got too close to the nest. This one is almost entirely the social species. Honeybees, yellowjackets, paper wasps, bald-faced hornets, because they're the only ones with a colony, brood, and stores worth dying to protect. And this is the reason worth respecting, because each social species has its own way of telling the whole colony it's under attack. And that signal moves fast. One sting becomes many. Remember, they're not hunting you, they're defending their home. But fast or not, social species can be dangerous. So do not try to get near a wasp nest or bee nest. Yellowjackets have earned a reputation for getting cranky in late summer and fall when their colonies peak and their natural food crashes and suddenly your soda looks like dinner. There's a kernel of truth there, but it's not the whole story. I hosted a yellowjacket colony in my own backyard last summer, and spending that time observing them, walking past the entrance, even mowing around it, completely changed my mind about them, especially once I watched them become somebody else's lunch. Because here's the thing my backyard colony taught me. That nest wasn't a threat sitting in my yard. It was a pest control company and a grocery store for the whole neighborhood. I watched hornets picking off my yellowjackets one by one. Bald-faced hornets and European hornets, which also eat honeybees, sometimes well after dark. Either way, my fearsome wasps were prey. They're prey for birds too. The summer tanager is the local specialist. It'll snatch a wasp clean out of the air, then wipe the stinger off against a branch before swallowing it. Flycatchers and kingbirds grab them on the wing like it's nothing. And the colony itself, it's a buried protein jackpot. Skunks and raccoons sniff out ground nests and dig right into it at night, tearing the comb apart for the fat, defenseless larvae. The same larvae the workers are dying to protect from you. The adults you're so worried about are the last line of defense for a nursery half the neighborhood wants to raid. So when you're looking at a yellowjacket nest and feel fear, flip it. You're not looking at a predator. You're looking at the bottom of somebody's food chain. So how do you basically never get stung? Stay calm and move slowly. Swatting reads as an attack and often leads to accidental contact, which is when the sting happens. A bee or wasp checking you out will leave on its own if you let it. Know where the nests are and give them wide open space. Watch where you step, ground nests, and where you stick your hands, eaves, shrubs, that gutter. Cover your food and drink outside, especially in late summer. And check your cup before you sip. Don't seal yourself off from the solitary ones. They're not the risk necessarily, and they're doing your pest control. Leave them be and they'll return the favor. Honeybees specifically can die after they sting you. Their stinger is barbed and usually tears out of their body once it pierces your skin. They're not interested in a suicidal mission over a picnic. Calm down, and so will they. Respect the nests. Ignore the loners. That's 95% of it. So how do you build a yard that is safer for bees and wasps? Not a kill zone, not a sterile green carpet, but a place where they can feed, nest, hunt, maybe even overwinter. A place where they can actually do their jobs. I'll keep it simple with just 2 tiers. Tier 1, stop spraying. No broad spectrum insecticides, not even the ones labeled safe for bees. No just in case treatments. No fogging the whole yard because a few mosquitoes found your ankles. That spray can't tell a bee from a pest. It can't tell the wasp hunting your tomato hornworm from the hornworm itself. It kills just about everything. And here's the part a lot of people miss. The pests bounce back first. They're pests because they're built to rebound fast. The wasps, beetles, and lacewings, quietly keeping them in check, they don't recover nearly as quickly. So spraying doesn't fix your yard. It just empties it of the very things that were doing your pest control for free. So tier 1 is one move. Put down the sprayer. Let a few chewed leaves happen. A little damage just means your yard is feeding something. Tier 2, bees and wasps need 4 things: food, water, shelter, and a place to raise the next generation. Food first. And on a relay. Plant a variety of natives so that you have something blooming spring through fall. Your aim is to ensure there's never a hunger gap. Something early, something in summer, and something still going into fall. But if you have time to add just one plant this year, make it mountain mint. Pound for pound, it's one of the best plants you can put in the ground if your goal is pollinators and the wasps doing your pest control. Then plant for specialists. Some native bees don't need just any flower. They need one specific plant. The spring beauty mining bee collects pollen only from spring beauties. No spring beauty? No spring beauty bee. A yard can be full of blooms and still miss the one flower a specialist needs. So check which specialist bees live near you and plant for them. Now, shelter. Roughly 70% of native bees nest in the ground. So leave a few sunny patches of bare, undisturbed soil. Small ones. Not the whole yard. Just edges and corners you don't mulch, till, or stomp flat every week. The rest nest in hollow stems, pithy stems, and old beetle tunnels. So leave some stems standing through winter. Leave a log and leave the leaves. That litter is where bees and overwintering wasps make it through the cold. Stripping the yard bare in fall isn't cleaning up. It's evicting them in the one season they can't move. So, less lawn, more natives, some bare soil, some standing stems, and some leaves left alone. Every bee and wasp in this series, the yellowjackets, the bumblebees, the bald-faced hornets, and the tiny pollen goblins, none of them are random bugs passing through. They're workers in a living system. Some pollinate, some hunt pests, some are food for something else. Make your yard a little safer and a little softer around the edges. And you're not helping pollinators in some bumper sticker way. You're giving these animals a place to land, feed, nest, and thrive. Keep in mind, the goal is never a perfect yard, just a useful one. Remember how we opened? Something striped flies past. Your hand goes up. The kill it before it kills me dance starts before your brain has even caught up. That tiny half second between striped thing and swat is where this whole series has been pointing. It's almost nothing, a breath, a pause, but it's enough, because in that gap, you get to choose curiosity over fear. You get to ask, who is this? And what is it doing here? Almost every time, the answer is some version of working. Pollinating, hunting the caterpillar on your tomatoes, packing a mud nest, cutting through on the way home. More often than not, you are not their target. You're just standing near the worksite. And that's the swap I'm aiming for. It was never about becoming fearless. It's about what you do with that half second. Fill it with fear, and every striped thing becomes a threat. Fill it with curiosity, and your yard becomes the most interesting, screen-free time of your life. I know which one I'd rather live in. There's so much more going on with the wasps specifically than I could fit in here, especially those parasitoids, the ones nobody defends. I went deep on the whole is it a bee or wasp and should I be scared question over on the blog, including the full field guide to telling them apart. That's at diyNature.substack.com. Thanks for watching.
From the flowers to the trees to the spiders and the bees, there's a world right at your door. Let's go outside and explore your own backyard and so much more.